It's not as if the government is completely selling out everything. At the same time, it's also not as if it's going to be running all the businesses itself. Those assets which exist, which are not being at the moment used properly, or which are not really optimally generating revenues, they will be monetized.
You spoke about rationalizing state-owned enterprises or public sector units, merging some of them, consolidating them, opening up more spaces for non-government companies in areas where they've been barred. Of course, in its extreme, this will lead to privatization. We've seen the example of Air India, which as a private company is showing great ambition. Could you take us through that roadmap, the consolidation of public sector companies, possible disinvestment, and so on?
That was very clearly stated in the policy of public sector enterprises in India. We have announced core sectors, 4 of them, and in that we said there will be at least a minimum presence of the government. But even they have been open for private sector. There is no sector now in India which is not available for the private sector to be in and function. And when we say a minimum presence of government in those core sectors, we mean that institutions which are big enough to run on their own steam will be there. But if there are others who are very small or unsustainable or not scalable, if there is a possibility, we will try to blend them so that a bigger unit, sustainable unit, a unit which can on its own take care of its needs, we will blend them and create a larger entity which can continue to be there. But if there are 2 small ones, and also small ones which cannot blend with the existing bigger one, we will try to see if there are others who would like to take them over, or if they are even not possible to be sold out, they will be shut. The policy is simply only that. It's not a crazy rushing out to sell everything, nor is it sitting and saying government will run the business of producing pins to aircrafts to everything. So where the government doesn't have to be, it won't. But where, because of strategic interests, you have to be, it will be there, like telecom, for instance. There will be a telecom company, which will be governments. And it will be run professionally. So it's not as if the government is completely selling out everything. At the same time, it's also not as if it's going to be running all the businesses itself. But there is also that one point which you probably meant, is for those assets which exist, which are not being at the moment used properly, or which are not really optimally generating revenues, they will be monetized. And monetized is not to say I'm selling it off, not giving it for free for anybody, but a certain value is assessed, and what newly can it create in terms of earning by being used, by being put to some productive use, we'll encourage that. So asset monetization continues, and oftentimes our opposition, fully understanding the meaning, would still say, oh, you're selling that off. We are not selling that off. And timely just when I saw a member of the opposition come in.